Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 24th, 2025 at approximately 9:03 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's journey to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my own day-to-day life, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I guide virtually every decision I make by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue working for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people with varying degrees of success depending on their own personal efforts. Now, today we are going to be looking at a couple of things, and we'll have to get to it in a minute, but we're looking at chakras in your home and business. Much like the chakras in your body, these are power centers that literally will help your life grow a lot more smoothly. Now, something I just discovered a couple of days ago is I owe a lot of you, every one of you listeners, every one of you contributors, an absolute thank you. I literally spent thousands of dollars on advertising companies that told me they could help with my sales, they could help with increasing my income. Buy Me a Coffee has, it turns out, since I opened this up, it seems like 2 years ago, and I didn't realize I'd stockpiled money, but since then, you guys have contributed $300, well, $340 through Buy Me a Coffee. I do not have the words to say it to really express the gratitude I have. And something remarkable just happened just a couple of days ago here by, if I can remember the name here. Oh, sure. Took a look at it and forgot to write it down. By, now what was it? J. Monica. I believe that's the right name. Am I correct there, Storm?
Yeah, you are correct. It's Joe Monica.
Joe
Uh,
Monica.
Joe Monica went by Joe M in chat. Joe Monica is what's on the uh, deriving from the email address.
Well, Joe just turned around and bought a monthly support and a monthly contribution. And I'll tell you, that caught me way off guard, but really, really happy about it. Thank you so much there, Joe. And like I said, guys, so much thanks to all of you. I really appreciate the support. Now, we do have Storm in the background he handles making sure we don't have problems. He's also the one that set up Buy Me a Coffee for me. Okay. Then we have LA Moon, who is quite often in the chat room. She's in there now. She is also a moderator, but she's the one on top of keeping conversations going reasonably. She is also the one that keeps a real close eye on whether or not I'm actually getting food into my system, so I don't go and drop dead on you while we're on air, although that would be entertaining for some people. That said, we have Rachel Andrews is in the house with the gold. And I hope your day is going well there, Rachel. And then we have Operation Shutdown. You have come in with the silver. So how's it going there, Operation? We are looking at the chakras in the home. Now, the good news here. Hey, there is Chad Smith popping in with the bronze. How you doing, Chad? Now, let me just see something here because I've actually got it open. The Anatomy of Home is literally one of the books I'm working on, laying out much more specifically the chakras in the home. Okay, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight. Of course, the reality is, if you have a question, okay, if you got a question, doesn't really matter what the topic is, make sure you put it in the chat room in all caps so I can find the thing. That would be really appreciated. No, I've tried a lot of different ways of operation, and I'm really not looking forward to doing it again. Besides that, because of your guys, because of all your encouragement and assistance, my other half, my fiance, is going to be up here, is going to be up to see me on from February 3rd to February 17th. Renee, you are in with honorable mention. Glad you can make it. And in case you didn't hear that, Renee, the Buy Me a Coffee, the Buy Me a Coffee link up above has literally drawn $300 from you guys in the way of support. I cannot really voice how much that means. Okay, because it is way more appreciated than I know the words to say, and I'm a writer. But shall we get on with things? When we look at the anatomy of a home, when I started looking at the chakras in it, I had to compare it to the different parts of the body. Okay, so when you look at it, there's only five. Well, there's 5 major categories, and in the book I will break it down a little more. But the brain of your home or of your business is in the office. Okay, that's where all of your information has to go through. Whether you're striving to change the way your life is going, or you're simply striving to keep it organized. The brain is the office. That's the first chakra that we clear out, which means wherever you're working on your finances, wherever you're working on your planning, okay, that's the first chakra to clear, because the brain's got to work. And rest assured, I know a lot of people where it would be nice if they actually had that working, but I can see where there's been a problem on that note. The nice part about it, okay, the nice part about it is once you get the brain up and running, you'll find, first of all, and this means clear all the clutter off your office desk, wherever you're working on it. Now, I have a 15-foot office desk. Needless to say, this is why I've got to get up. Like, you can't see the far end of my desk over there. Because, well, I've got the monitor and that's it. And I don't like that. Well, I like the monitor. That wasn't the problem. I've got a memory like a sieve half the time. One day I'll remember to close that first. But with the chakra, with the brain, with the office, you get that up and running, and you will find, first of all, energy levels start to climb. Okay, you will think more clearly, and because of that, and don't take my word for this, if you haven't got your office sorted out, do so and see how different it makes it. Now, that's the first of the chakras. I'm going to run through them reasonably quickly again. If you've got questions, absolutely ask. Okay. Now, the book I've got it already started, is literally called, at this point, the working title is The Anatomy of a Home. Okay. The second major set of arteries, or say a set of chakras, your heart is actually a 3-chamber heart. Now, you'll notice over the years I've talked about everything happening in threes. Well, the heart in the home or the office is the same thing. Okay, now you may have to modify the title in the office, but in the home, your living room, your dining room, and your kitchen are the three chakras that create the 3-chamber heart. Okay, and like I said, this is all documented. That's the nice part about it. Oh, before I move to that, one of the things that you'll notice with the brain, as you get the clutter out of the way, you'll find that even the smallest of disparities, the smallest things that are out of sequence or out of place, start to show up so much more clearly. Okay, But the office is where you do all of your thinking, all of your planning, all of your organizing. You get the picture? There's a whole lot of all going on there. Okay. Once you've got the brain working, it takes over and heads for the rest of it. Now, as we can well imagine, when you look into the heart, it's a 3-chamber heart. Okay. The living room is where where most of your relaxation and social interaction takes place. Okay. That's where you end up developing communication lines, where you end up developing friendships and associations. Then you've got the dining room. That's where all of the communication is centered. Correction, it's where the majority of it is centered. Okay, this is why, if you're not doing this already, okay, and I will be one of the first to admit we don't do it as much as we should, but the dining room is where, if you're having troubles with your home, okay, bring everybody around the dining room table, shut all electronics off, and reconnect with the people in the home. This is where you learn how to communicate and how to listen, by the way. Of course, bear in mind, communication and listening, it's part and parcel. Then we take a look at the kitchen. Now, the kitchen is where nutrition is taken care of. And I know some of you are like me. Nutrition isn't really high on the list. But almost all of your revitalization in the house comes through the kitchen. Okay. As well as most of the energy regeneration comes in, or more to the point, the manufacturing of it. But this is a 3-chamber heart. Okay. Now, if I would suggest making notes. Okay. As soon as I get this book, the back of it and the backbone of it is already put together. It will end up going on the market. And now that we know how to go about it, we will be providing it on PDF at the same time. It's not ready to go yet. Okay. And like I've mentioned before, and obviously you guys already know, but at least most of you do, at the top of the stream, there is a link to buy me a coffee, whereby all of the books that I've already written, including my consulting connections, or just the buy me a coffee to support what we're doing here, all of it can be gained through that point. And in case you're not in front of a computer, okay, it's buymeacoffee.com/innervoiceJ. That'll take you right to it. Now, after we go through the heart, let's just make sure I get this done in the right order. Now we got that really annoying thing that always takes place after you've had food. Hopefully. Okay. And that is the bowels, which are in your bath. They are set up in the bathroom and the laundry room if you happen to have one. Okay. What have I got here? Oh, operation. That's the easy part. Operation is asking, I need to declutter both my bedroom and my home office. Which do you suggest I tackle first? Your home office is absolutely the first one. Okay, wherever you work on your finances, on your planning, all of that, get the clutter off of it. Even if you have to move it elsewhere, but clear it off the office. That is absolutely the number one. Okay. Of course, I shouldn't say absolutely. If your bed itself is covered, you might want to clear that first. But on the whole, the office is clearly, that's where all of your thinking takes place. Get that one straightened out. Well, where did we go here? Now, when we take a look at the bowels, let's go down here. What I'm doing is literally going through the book right now. Okay. Now, this is now the bathroom, the laundry room, as in the bowels, This is where all of your refuse, or the majority of it, is treated and disposed of. Just like any garbage room. Okay. But, and this is why I say, some of you will have a laundry room, some of you won't. Okay. But we got to remember the little points, such as different garbage cans and what have you. And again, really important, and this is going to sound a little picky. Wherever you've got a garbage can, clean the area around it. The cleaner it is, the better the energy will flow. And here's why. If you think in terms of the room runs, your house, the energy runs very like water. Okay. You take a river and you throw a whole pile of garbage into it, or a whole pile of rocks and debris. The water will not flow properly. Same thing applies with your house. All the clutter, all the garbage, get rid of it. Clear it out. Now, whether you donate it to other people, take it to a secondhand shop, or send it to recycling, doesn't matter. Okay, the trick is, if it's not being used, if you don't have a purpose for it, okay, it's time to remove it. Now, there's a basic rule of thumb here. Okay, if you've got a box of stuff that you haven't been into for a year, okay, it may be time to look at getting rid of it. Now, understand there are a couple of minor little clarifications there. One, holiday stuff, true keepsake stuff, hang on to. Okay, absolutely hang on to it. There is stuff from the past that you probably like. At least I'm betting you do. Now, let's go back to here. And after the bowels, we have the next thing. Okay, now that you got the three real big issues sorted out, you've got your input cleared, you've got the food supply cleared, and you've got the debris removal sorted out. Now it's time to target the arteries. Every hallway, every connective room, okay, is an artery. And just like the arteries in your body, if you don't clear the arteries out of the way, and you've got multiple chakras. For every hallway you've got another chakra. Okay. All of them need to be cleared. Or nope, scratch that. All of them require clearing. If they're already clear, then clearly you don't have to do that. Yeah, and we can do the clearly a whole pile of times if you like. Okay. But the more clutter you've got, the more jammed your chakras are, the more chaos you're likely to generate in your house. Okay, now, I'm just taking a look at this. Trying to keep on top of things, but I'm having to actually between screens, which is entertaining. Scroll all the way back to the top. And now, the next one, and you're going to love this one, because this is where all digestion takes place. All your, most of your rejuvenation, most of your recovery time, if you're really wound up, takes place in the bedroom. Okay, that's where your digestion is. Okay, and that chakra is quite seriously one of the more severe. Okay, because if you don't have that one sorted out, you may well go to bed, but the odds are you're not going to sleep well. Now, here's the neat part about it. You don't have to take my word for it. Clear the clutter out of the area. Okay, now you start with making certain your bed itself is clear. Now, if you're anything like I am, you'll notice I'm over my left shoulder. I've got really neat little things that, everybody tells me, you shouldn't have these because, you're an adult. Okay? So I got neat little things like my own private stuffy. Now, that one, quite frankly, was one mom and dad gave me. This is Freud. And it literally means for reality of your dreams. Okay. So yes, I've got a number of stuffies here. They won't be here they won't be on my bed when my fiance gets here. Well, they might be here when she gets here, but they won't be staying there. But the important factor you really have to look at with the chakras, Ellie goes, as you know, we're all adults. Oh, I missed the one above it. Yeah, I don't have a dining room, but I live with 5 people. What do you suggest? That's the easy part. Okay, because you don't have a dining room, bring everybody into, the living room is your next best bet. Okay, presumably, you've got little tables and what have you can work with. Gather everybody in the living room for at least 1 meal a day is what is strongly recommended. Okay, and the reason for that is because you shut all the electronics off. Electronics, I've got nothing against them. Okay, they got something against me. But you shut the electronics off and actually, oh my gosh, talk to each other. Find out what everybody has been doing for the day. And do your best to give everybody time to have their say. Okay, now yes, some people will be a little more long-winded, but the important factor is that everybody gets a chance to communicate. In a lot of ways in today's world, this has become an almost lost art. So what we're looking at, as you clear the clutter out of the way and you start to draw the people in, now you've got, not only do you have family time where you can actually find out what the other person's up to, but you can start looking at finding common ground. In other words, you may find through that communication, it's a really weird idea. Maybe you're all working towards the same thing and just don't know it. Because today's society has pushed people to go several different directions all at once, and they push the idea of instant gratification. Well, I will tell you, you desire instant gratification, encourage the other people in your house to share what they're doing with their life. Okay, the most powerful word I ever found when dealing with people, whether we are talking about socially speaking or business, is that person's name. Now, again, you don't have to take my word for it. But this is why, since you don't have a dining room, the living room works quite nicely. Okay, but it still boils down to, when I talk about shutting all electronics off, you shut off the TV, shut off the radio, put the phones down on silent, on mute, however you want to put it. We're only talking, for most people, an hour to an hour and a half without a computer on the go. Okay, now I'm bad for it myself. I got 2 boys, and we all spend most of our time in our own rooms. We do tend to spend time together. And this is why I say, just because I'm telling you it works, doesn't mean I'm perfect by any functional means. Okay? Matter of fact, I'll guarantee I'm not perfect. But as you get the chakras cleared, and it's just like the chakras in your body. Okay, and you'll love this one. Just a minor little sidetrack. But while I've got that book being put together, I've got another one being put together on the chakras themselves, on the chakras in your body. And I mentioned this the other day when we did the show the other day. I've got a book that includes 47 major chakras. Okay, most Reiki masters deal with 7, the really good ones with 9. I've got 47 in this book, and I've already got the backbone written. But again, I started doing that because I cleared the brain. I cleared my office brain, cleared the chakra out of the way, got all of that sorted out as best I could. I've still got some work to do, but we are talking 60 years of building a chaotic mess. Now, some of you do have a few years on me, and that's great. Okay, some of you will, some of you don't. For the ones of you that are younger than I am, Okay, I suggest getting on this right away. Okay, because you will be amazed at how much this changes your life. It doesn't sound like much. What can clearing the office desk do? Well, what it does is it lets you see more clearly where the hiccups in your life are. It helps you understand what you're not content with. Okay, now the reality is, I look at it this way. Those are the big areas. Now, which way you clear them, there's a lot of variations. But the one static that I still recommend as a priority clearing is your office. Wherever you work on your finances, wherever you work on your planning, that's where you clear first. Because that's how you get your brain thinking. Because here's the kicker to it. Okay, whoever you pray to, whoever you worship, whoever you talk to or credit with inspiration, doesn't matter. The bottom line is you're the one that's going to have to be doing most of the work. Okay, and if you've got problems figuring out where that starts, well, never mind black and white. Can't call black and white. We're talking speech. Okay, but your office desk is, without functional exception, that is where you start clearing the stuff. You'll find that your brain works a lot quicker. And here's the neat part. As you get the chakras sorted out in the house, let's ignore the ones in your body for a moment, and we'll just look at the ones in your house. You will still find your healing rate climbs because your stress level will collapse. And in case you hadn't noticed from what you've read, or potentially what you've experienced, okay, stress kills. Okay, and it's no fun to live with either. But now, most people, in my case, for instance, I happen to have 3 bedrooms. Okay, I've got the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen for a 3-chamber heart. I've got 3 bedrooms for literally a 3-point relaxation regeneration chamber. Okay, and then I've also got a laundry room and 2 bathrooms. Again, I've got this neat little thing of 3-chamber bowels. Okay, and LA's just going, stabilizing your household can only help your family to feel secure overall. It begins when your home is organized and less chaotic. Absolutely correct, LA. Okay, if you guys have not done this, okay, you don't have to take my word for it. If you haven't done it, give it a shot and see what happens. I love there are so many people I talk to going, and they tell me, that won't work. And I'm like, have you given it the effort? Well, no, but it won't work. That's why I haven't done it. And to me, it's kind of like, okay, well, whether you believe it works or not, I will tell you this. You don't have to believe in gravity to have it really screw you up if you miss a step on the staircase. And again, and we go back to this funny little thing called list. Okay, when you're looking at it, and I broke it down rather solidly in here. Where are we? In this neat little one. Okay, I broke it down step by step in Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. Literally, what I'm finding is I've got all these bits and pieces of a puzzle spread out all over my life, and you've got the same problem. You got all these bits and pieces of your life that aren't working quite well, aren't necessarily working in conjunction with each other. So picture a 1,000-piece puzzle, just for simplicity's sake. Okay, you got a 1,000-piece puzzle and no picture. So you've got to find a way to put it together. Now, I will tell you, not all puzzles have a frame. So you start with little bits and pieces. When you find one, in this case, I'm going to tell you again, and yes, I repeat myself quite frequently. Okay, start with the brain, with the office, because that's how you'll manage to get your actual thinking process and your clarity of mind sorted around. Now, remember, in your world, in your house, you make the rules, but you still have to follow karmic law. But if you've got one part of your house that isn't running smoothly, it will create complications. Picture what happens in your body if only one artery is plugged solid. Picture how well your body works. The home is the same way. Okay, if your office is cluttered, if the chakra in your office, in your household brain is not cleared, okay, you get what people call brain fog. Okay, there's a couple other words that can be used to describe it, not necessarily polite. But you got to remember there is a balance point between order and chaos. Chaos is a necessary component of life, but it's not something you have to build your life on. It's simply something you have to adjust for. But the more clarity you have in your world, the more clarity you have in your home or in your business, the better it's going to run. Now get this. Okay, up until January 1st of this year, okay, my life was still in chaos. But on January, I did the work and cleared my office out before the end of the year, before the end of last year. With my office now running smoothly, now I'm set to actually climb. I am very likely to have more money in the bank by the end of January than I had at the beginning of January, with all of my bills being made. Okay, this is because literally I got the brain chakra cleared, and all of a sudden I'm able to move things. Things are starting to make more sense. Stress level is collapsing, and I will tell you, when your stress level collapses, your energy level climbs. So does your tolerance for idiots. Okay, now I got a T-shirt for a friend of mine last Christmas before last. It literally said, no, scratch that. It's actually mine. I've got a T-shirt my boys gave me that literally says, now how does it put it? Sure, I'm going to pull a complete blank. Okay, but it boils down to this. I'm fine. It's not my ability to cope with people. It's my ability to cope with idiots. It's a problem. How many people do you deal with? I'm not going to go and get that. Operation. I don't do this very often. Operation's asking, are stress and energy levels connected? Very seldom do I use this percentage. 100% yes. Stress levels and energy levels are absolutely connected. The higher your stress, the lower your energy. Okay. And intriguingly enough, it's like a teeter-totter. The higher the energy, the lower the stress, because you'll get more accomplished. And this is why planning how to get rid of the clutter, planning how to attain those little goals that you've got for yourself. People don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. Okay, but if you're stressed out, one of the biggest causes of stress in today's world, in case you hadn't noticed, is the news. Okay, and I really strongly recommend avoiding it because most of it is just depressing. Okay, if you can find good news, this is a great thing. This is why I put out a newsletter called Positive Perspectives. I refuse to put bad news in it. Okay, but it is free. But absolutely, stress level, the level of your stress, the level of your worry, is absolutely directly connected to your energy levels. Because in case you haven't noticed, if you're too stressed out, if you are not getting the rejuvenation, this is why you clear the bedroom out, clear the clutter out of the bedroom. Because if you don't have a way to rejuvenate, and thereby you don't end up bringing your stress level down, you're not going to be able to cope with day-to-day life. And this is why people sink into depression. I can't move, I can't think straight, so they curl up and hide under the covers. Okay, again, the same thing applies when you've got more than yourself in the house. This is why talking to the family, and when I say family, everybody in the house is chosen family. They may not be bloodline, but they are just as important. Okay, I love the people that tell me blood is thicker than water. I take things a little too literally on occasion, but they are right. Blood is absolutely thicker than water. And if it's not, you may have a problem. I mean, let's face it, if the viscosity of your blood is thinner than water, I'm thinking you may have all kinds of complications. But this is why you start with the brain, because in case you haven't noticed, even if you're curled up in a chair and trying to sleep, if your brain is not overstressed, you'll get at least some rest. Like, let's say you pass out on a recliner. If your brain is settled, you're going to get some rejuvenation. The majority of it, the reason that I talk about the bedroom is because by being able to stretch your body out, your muscles also relax. And I do not know the chemical that gets released. Okay, I don't know the name of it. But I do know that by letting your body physically relax and not contain itself in a restricted area, you will rejuvenate faster. Okay, now, and again, whether we are talking just the clutter, start with just the clutter. Okay, once the clutter is out of the way, now you go through, and just like you do when they're cleaning the sewers in the city, they go in, they clear all the garbage out of the way, then you start scraping the walls. And I don't mean scrape them directly, okay? But you wash your walls, clear out the cobwebs, evict the little insects that you don't require. And sorry guys, the children, though they may be kind of a bug and a pain in the neck on occasion, evicting them is not the insects I'm referring to. Okay, besides that, those little insects you can actually put to work. And for those of you that haven't figured it out, by getting your communication lines up and running, you also have a golden opportunity to point out where your stress is being brought about from. Okay, and you're able to directly request assistance. And yes, I realize some of you are parents, myself included. Okay, but guess what? If we don't teach them how to take care of things, who's going to? And I've heard parents do it where they'll go, well, I don't want to be too hard on my kid. I'd like to give them, I want them to have a better life than I have. That's a great idea. I love it. If you don't teach them how to take care of their part of the house, okay, you're not doing them any favors. And yes, by the way, I am going to, when I look into things like the bedroom, in the book, I haven't done it just yet, but a bedroom can also be broken down into different parts, into different chakras. Flubber Lane, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Okay, this is one of those expansions I'm going to be dealing with. But needless to say, in the bedroom, the bed itself is the bedroom. That's where the rejuvenation takes place. Okay, in the bedroom, the hallways are the floor between the different parts of the bedroom. And again, if they're not clear, the energy doesn't run smoothly. Okay, but this is why I say teaching the kids to handle that. They'll argue. Absolutely they will. There is the occasional variation. I do not like hiccups. There is the occasional variation where a child will jump right in of their own accord. Absolutely utilize that. Absolutely let them, if they are asking to help, give them something to do. Okay, and there's all kinds of things that we can go into there. But I will tell you, the two most wasted commodities on this planet, okay, are the wisdom of the seniors and the enthusiasm of the youth. Okay, and by the way, yes, there are, even when you take a look at a city, and we're not going to go into that right now, but when you take a look at the city, there are also chakras in a city. Remember how I mentioned a long time ago, multiple times really, all things are connected. Okay, well, this literally boils down to that same chakra system applies to the house, then the physical body, the city, the country, the world itself. It's all connected. Okay, and what we have to realize is what I've turned my life drive into is to help remind you all that all of this is connected, and working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. It's just time that we stop waiting for somebody else to point out where we can change it. Okay, and by the way, when I talk, and the reason I call myself a spiritual guide is because these same tools I'm talking about, I'm already implementing. Okay, and I did come to the conclusion today that I'll be going Friday and Monday. I'm going back on doing just a live stream on my own, okay, for a day in the office. Some of you have already dropped by, okay, but again, when you've got questions, no matter what time of day it is, if I'm online, okay, absolutely ask. Okay, tracking me down isn't that hard. And this is why I say, if the world decides to go to war, somebody give them my address. I don't feel like cleaning up the mess again. But the household arteries, all of it is absolutely necessary. Now, I will tell you one other thing about the chakras. Okay, when you're looking at the chakras, there is this other neat little energetic tool. Okay, and we'll have to get into that as well. But Feng Shui, the way it is laid out in Oriental communities, applies to the chakras in your home. And yes, it literally boils down to understanding how they work. Okay, now the way and we'll get to the Feng Shui on a different date. Okay, now I will tell you, much like my understanding of chakras is not book learned. I simply woke up with it one morning and went, oh, here we have it. And I'm telling you, the more I find out about it, the more convinced I am that there is so much we do not recall. Thank you very much there, LA. Boy, do these days go by really quick. I must say thank you so much to LA Moon and Storm, because it was a discussion with them that brought us into this issue of only running these for an hour. Okay, that way it's short enough, we can get the information out, and as you've seen, when questions are asked, I do my best to answer them right away. Okay, because, and for those of you that are going, well, I've got a question, but I don't want to hog the information. Understand. I don't want to hog your attention. Understand. Every one of you is sitting on a question that at least half a dozen other people that are either in the room or are listening to the stream afterwards are also struggling with. So, absolutely ask your questions. Blue Cruz, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully your day has been going well. The reality is we are doing our best to plan things out, to make sure the stream is running smoothly. Priority concern in Positive Perceptions here, in this chat room, is for this to be a safe place for everybody. Okay? Same thing applies when I am running a day in the office. Same thing applies. It's got to remain safe for virtually everybody. Now, some of you have baggage you're bringing with you. I can understand that. Life creates havoc. It really can. But if, or more to the point, when we work together, we can absolutely mitigate a lot of the stress. And this is one of the reasons why I'm also working on a booklet on linguistics. What words are detrimental to your life? And these words apply to literally every language I've ever come across. Okay? But in your home, now remember, here's the neat thing about your home. You've got the connection to the outside world. Okay, i.e., your power plugins, your outlets, your water lines, your telephone lines. Now, clearly, shutting your power off is a bad idea. Shutting your water off is a very bad idea. But if you're on a phone, absolutely remember karmic law. Your home, your rules. You get a phone call, you're not content with the way you're being treated. It's really funny how this works. Take the phone and put it back on the cradle. Or in today's world, you take the phone and you hit hang up. Okay? It's amazing how that will stop your stress level. Now, caution, if you're dealing with government issue, hanging up on them is not necessarily a bright idea. The fact of the matter is, just to jump backwards a fraction here, when I take a look at it, okay, I spent thousands of dollars on marketing, okay, and letting other people figure out how to make my life straightened out. Okay, I came to the understanding that I really have to do this myself. Yes, for instance, I'm not going to try and sort out how to get a computer to work properly. Okay, and everything that requires doing, you yourself may not know how to do. But as you get the communication chakra opened up, you'll gain that sense of self, okay, where you can turn around and actually ask somebody for assistance. In my case, where it comes to the computer, okay, I talk to Storm. Where it comes to my cell phone, I run into a problem. I got one company in town. I go to them. Okay, my phone seized so completely I couldn't do a thing with it. So I took it down to this one company, and 30 seconds later, my phone was running. I had spent 20 minutes, half an hour trying to figure it out. I just don't bother with it. But as you get the chakras in your home sorted around, and yeah, some of you probably are listening to me calling it a chakra or a chakra, you get to figure out the pronunciation. Okay, it's the energy centers. And the clearer they are, the better off you're going to find things. Okay, now the neat part about it is, it boils down to this. Doesn't matter how many times you come in here, while I'm discussing things, I can only produce 1 man-hour of information. But this is where these books come in handy. Okay, because these, whether you get them in physical form, now here's the thing. In physical form, virtually anywhere in the world, you can get this for $20 Canadian. Okay, that's shipping included. However, if you go through Buy Me a Coffee, you can get the PDF PDF version, okay, for only $10 Canadian. And it's in your hand right now. I personally still like these. Okay, but then I like the feel of an actual book. And the fact of the matter is, as you get your home sorted around, as you get the chakras in your own home cleared out and running smoothly, it will start to affect the people you're connected to. Okay, specifically, it will help your immediate family, whoever's in the house, and your closest friends. It will also help everybody you connect with, whether we are talking mechanics, restaurateurs, whatever. Okay. I'm very glad to see you're doing better there, Blue. The reality is there is always room for improvement, but let's be clear. Practice does not make perfect, but it does make better. Because I doubt very much any one of you is ever going to reach the state of perfection. Now, I know a few people that claim they have, and it's the first sign that they haven't. Because the moment somebody says, I know it all, they have just stopped themselves from learning. Now, for the number of energy workers I've talked to, I have yet to talk to any one of them that has laid out the chakras in a home or in a business. Now, to be clear, if you're having trouble with your business or your home, identifying which chakras are which and how to go about it, absolutely drop me a line. That's why I've got the consulting link. And it's a staggeringly pricey little thing. Much as I have been paid $2,600 an hour, I only actually charge $20 every 15 minutes. Okay, because I'm a firm believer you're going to have to do the work. You just have to have a little guidance. Okay, now I could give you a little less guidance. I just shut the stream down and you'll get as little as I can give. Okay, but I'm not a diplomat. And it's one of those funny little things I never did gather and wrap my brain around. But the chakras in your home, if they aren't running smoothly, start with your office. Okay, now some people will do the office first and then the bedroom. I'm lucky. They're both connected. Okay, but the reason for that is get the brain working and make sure you've got a place where you can rejuvenate. But the rest of them still have to be cleared. Okay, I've listed them off in the order that works well for most people. Okay, and again, we'll just go back up here all the way to the top. You start with the brain in the office. Okay, then you take care of the 3-chamber heart, the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. Take care of the bathroom and the laundry room. These are your bowels. Okay, clear out the arteries, which is the connective hallways. Okay, and then you take, which is that is your rejuvenation center. Now, I've just been told we are down to the 5-minute mark. With that in mind, thank you so very much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Again, hats off to all of you. All of your support through the Buy Me a Coffee link has been phenomenal. Okay, and absolutely really appreciate it. With that in mind, okay, tomorrow, where are we dealing with? I'm just getting my pad out of here. Tomorrow, we are dealing with what does it mean to put the past behind you, to let your past go. We will be discussing that and laying out the simple points as to why that works. Okay, and that happens at 9 p.m. PST. So I look forward to seeing you all there. In that point, with that in mind, I do look forward to seeing you again. Until we talk again, do take care of yourselves and each other.